He said he loved me, then buried me alive. The man I gave my whole life to, the man I called my husband, killed me, then cried at my funeral while holding the hand of his billionaire mistress. People called him a victim of tragedy, but if they looked close enough, they'd have seen the monster hiding behind those perfect tears. My name was Emily, and if you're hearing this, it means my story didn't end in that coffin. It only began there. Daniel was everything I thought I wanted. Charming, ambitious, and the kind of man who made you feel like you were the only person in the room. But after marriage, I learned charm is just another mask evil wears when it's bored. He started staying out late, smiling too much at his phone, and whispering names in his sleep that weren't mine. Then came Veronica, rich, ruthless, beautiful like sin. She didn't want to share. She wanted ownership. Daniel wanted her money, her world, her status. And the only thing in his way was me, so he made me disappear. He did it clean, like a business deal. No struggle, no witnesses, just a cold plan hidden behind warm kisses. The night before my death, he made me dinner, my favorite pasta, and as I smiled, he slipped something into my wine. I remember the bitter taste, the dizziness, his voice whispering, "I'll always love you," as the room faded to black. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't move. I felt the cold wood of a coffin under my fingertips, the faint echo of dirt falling above me. He'd buried me alive. My screams were muffled by the soil, my nails broke trying to claw my way out, but death was patient. It waited till my heartbeat slowed. Yet fate wasn't done, because even after I stopped breathing, my story found its way back. Daniel attended my funeral the next day, hand in hand with Veronica, pretending grief while my best friend Lily watched from the back row. Lily knew something was wrong. She'd seen Daniel's lies before, but no one believed her. When Daniel kissed Veronica behind the coffin, Lily's camera caught it. One photo, one spark, that was all it took to start the fire. That night, while the world slept, Lily opened her laptop, zoomed in on Daniel's smile and whispered, "I'm going to destroy you." She started digging, tracking his bank accounts, tracing the offshore transfers, and then she found it. A new company registered under Veronica's name just days before my death. The amount? $3 million, a perfect trade for a perfect murder. Lily couldn't go to the police. Daniel had too many friends, too much power. So she went underground, recording everything, every call, every movement. And then she saw something on the store's security footage. Daniel buying chemicals, ropes, gloves, the week before I fell. But when she tried to download the file, her screen flickered and a voice message appeared. "Stop digging." "Lily, you'll be next." She froze. The voice was Daniel's. That's when she realized he knew. He knew she was coming for him. That same night, Daniel drove to the cemetery with Veronica. They stood over my grave, laughing, drunk on champagne. Veronica said, "You're free now, darling." Daniel smiled. "No, not yet. Someone's watching." His eyes turned toward the trees where Lily hid with her camera. She ducked, heart pounding, hands trembling, but then a shadow stepped behind her, pressing something cold to her neck. "Mr. Daniel says goodnight," a deep voice whispered. Lily gasped, dropped her camera, and everything went black. 3 days after Lily vanished, the world moved on, but guilt doesn't sleep. Daniel started hearing things, soft knocks in the night, a woman's voice whispering his name from the walls, the faint sound of nails scratching wood. He tried blaming his nerves, but fear has a way of knowing the truth before the mind admits it. Veronica noticed it too. Daniel's hands shook when he poured wine. His eyes darted toward empty corners. His reflection seemed to move slower than he did. One night, as he showered, he swore he saw a message written in the fogged mirror. "You buried me alive." He screamed, shattered the glass, but when Veronica rushed in, there was nothing there. The next morning, Daniel received a letter. No return address, no name, just a small flash drive inside. He plugged it into his laptop and a video began to play. It was Lily, tied to a chair, bruised, crying. "You killed her," she whispered, "but she's not gone. You'll see her soon." The video glitched, showing flashes of a dark basement, then static. Daniel slammed the laptop shut, his pulse racing. Veronica demanded answers, but he only said, "Someone's playing with us." She laughed, saying, "Relax, baby." The dead don't text. But when she turned away, Daniel saw it again. Mud on her shoes, the same dirt from Emily's grave. He froze. "Where were you last night?" he asked. Veronica smirked. "Visiting your past." That's when he realized she'd been to the cemetery. That night he followed her. The cemetery was silent except for the wind. Veronica knelt beside Emily's grave, lighting a candle. "You won, sweetheart," she said softly. Daniel's breath caught. "What are you talking about?" Veronica smiled in the darkness. "She's haunting us, Daniel." "I hear her too." Daniel lunged forward, grabbing her shoulders. "Stop playing games." But then the ground beneath them trembled. A hollow thud echoed, and the soil at Emily's grave cracked slightly open. Veronica screamed, stumbling back, but Daniel couldn't move. He saw something pale, almost human beneath the surface. He fell to his knees, digging frantically until his hands hit wood. The coffin was empty. Panic spread through his veins. He stumbled backward, whispering, "No, no, no!" Veronica ran to the car, but the engine wouldn't start. Suddenly, the car radio turned on by itself, playing Emily's favorite song. The same song Daniel had played during dinner the night he poisoned her. The volume rose until the speakers burst with static and a woman's voice echoed. "Miss me?" Veronica screamed, smashing the radio. But the voice came again, this time from her phone, repeating, "You buried me alive." She dropped the phone and bolted out of the car, only to find Daniel standing in the headlights. His face pale, trembling, whispering, "She's back." They both ran home, locking doors, closing windows, but nothing stopped the whispers. Every mirror reflected Emily's eyes, every shadow stretched into her shape. Daniel stopped sleeping. Veronica stopped eating. 2 nights later, Veronica vanished too. Her blood found near the pool, a single high heel floating on the water and a note carved into the wall. "One down." Daniel called the police, but when they arrived, there was no body, no sign of struggle, just the same red bracelet Emily once wore lying on the floor. The detective looked at him strangely. "Mr. Hayes," he said, "this bracelet has Emily's fingerprints." Daniel's face went white. He ran upstairs, searching for his gun, but when he opened the drawer, he found a wedding ring instead, Emily's ring. He backed away, shaking, whispering, "I buried you. I buried you." The lights flickered, the air turned cold, and then a woman's voice whispered behind him, "Then why am I here?" He turned and saw her. Emily, pale, eyes empty but alive. She didn't speak, just stared as Daniel screamed and fired the gun. The bullet passed through her, shattering the mirror behind. When he looked again, she was gone. But her voice lingered. "Confess, Daniel, or join me in the dark." Daniel woke up the next morning drenched in sweat, the gun still in his hand, the mirror shattered, and blood on his knuckles though he didn't remember bleeding. His phone buzzed, a message with a video link and one line, "Dig deeper." The video opened to a live feed of a dark basement. Veronica was there, tied to a chair, crying, begging for mercy. "Daniel," she sobbed, "please, she's alive." His heart stopped. "Who?" he whispered at the screen. "Emily!" she screamed. "She's alive, Daniel!" "She knows everything." Then the feed cut out. Daniel jumped into his car and drove to the old cabin he used for secret meetings, the one hidden in the woods where no one ever went. The door was open. Inside, candles flickered around photos of him, Veronica, and Emily. On the table lay a phone playing a recording of his own voice, the confession he once made to Veronica after killing Emily. "It's done. She'll never bother us again." His own words echoed back at him. Suddenly, footsteps creaked behind him. He turned slowly. Emily stood there, alive. Her face pale, her eyes burning with tears and fury. "You buried me," she said quietly. Daniel staggered back, his mouth trembling. "How? How are you alive?" Emily stepped forward, voice shaking but steady. "Because your poison failed. You buried a heartbeat, Daniel. You buried me breathing. She told him how she woke up inside the coffin, clawed through the thin layer of dirt before passing out again, and how a gravedigger found her hours later, half dead, her pulse faint but real. She was taken to a private clinic where Lily found her days later, alive but broken. Together they planned her revenge, not with blood, but with fear. Lily had staged her own disappearance, sent the recordings, the haunting messages, even dug up the empty grave. Emily watched Daniel's sanity unravel piece by piece, waiting for him to feel every ounce of terror she'd felt buried alive. "You wanted me gone," she said, "so I made sure you'd never forget me." Daniel dropped to his knees, shaking. "Please, Emily, But Emily stepped closer, lifting a gun, his own gun, the one he used that night to test his nerves. "No, Daniel," she whispered. "You don't get to beg." Suddenly, flashing lights filled the cabin. Police sirens. Lily appeared from the shadows, recording everything. "That's enough," she said. "Let the world see who he really is." The police stormed in, arresting Daniel while he screamed that Emily was dead. The officers looked around, confused. Emily had vanished again. In the footage later recovered from Lily's camera, Emily's figure appeared for only a moment before disappearing into the woods. Some said she escaped. Others said she never existed, that it was Daniel's guilt haunting him until the end. But what's certain is that Daniel confessed everything. Every lie, every secret. His empire collapsed overnight, Veronica's name destroyed in scandal, and Daniel spent the rest of his life in a padded cell, whispering her name to the walls. "Emily, I'm sorry. Please." Years later, on the anniversary of his arrest, a nurse found a bouquet of white lilies on his hospital bed and a note that read, "Forgiveness was never the goal. Understanding was." The camera footage from the hallway showed no one entering or leaving his room that night, but a faint woman's hum was caught on the audio, the same lullaby Emily used to sing. They say justice comes in many forms, sometimes through the law, sometimes through karma, and sometimes through the ghosts we create ourselves. So next time you think you've buried your sins, remember, some graves never stay closed.